Hey everyone, welcome back into the video. So we got a lot to talk about because I don't know what else to tell you. Like, the gaming industry is crashing and burning, especially on the AAA side. Indies are doing just fine, like, clearly. Hell, like, mostly I've just been playing old, like, replaying games or whatever that I just so choose to, or playing new games I never played before that are in my backlog. Because the AAA game industry is crashing and burning, really. So we're going to be going over that. There's a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. Now, this first article is from about a month ago, basically when it comes to talking about game pricing. So, here we go. One large focus reports GTA 6 will undoubtedly be the biggest gaming release of the year, should it make its planned 2025 release. According to the report, there's hope within the industry that publisher Take-Two will take the unprecedented excitement from GTA 6 in order to bump it to 100. It's believed that if Take-Two took it, a game that was so well regardless, then others could follow suit and potentially aid in recovering development costs. Y'all remember that game Concord that came out last year? Guess what the budget was? Drumroll, please. $400 million.
Ah! 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 Oh my god! Stop!
$400 million for a game that was clearly chasing live service and was infested with DEI elements. Clearly, like, how in the name of God did a live service game that was a hero shooter like that, how did that cost so freaking much? That is insane. I know Sony bought the studio while the game was still in development. I know that. But still, though, like, it shouldn't have cost that freaking much. Like, clearly something was wrong, because where did all that money go? Like, that's just insane to me. Like, absolutely insane. Because there is no way in hell a game that looked like Concord should not have cost $400 million to make. I'm sorry. There's just no way in the name of God that should have cost that much. Like, that's just insane to me. I mean, it's also a grander issue across the gaming space, especially in the Western development scene. I mean, you still see issues like with the Japanese gaming scene, like in the Eastern territory, but it's notoriously on the Western. I mean, there's so many countless examples that I've talked about before in the past on Twitter or whatever, you know? I mean, some of them I've talked about videos in video form too, but not all of them. But I mean, come on, like, it's because these stupid-ass executives don't want to rein in their fucking budgets, and because of that, these budgets are spiraling out of fucking control. And what these stupid-ass executives need to fucking realize and get through their thick skulls, that for every fortnight, there's a Concord, there's a Lawbreakers. How many more live service fucking failures? Suicide Squad, that's another one. How many more fucking failures do these executives need to see before they fucking realize that they need to stop with this fucking trend and let their studios do what they're best at? Look at Rocksteady. Rocksteady, the developer behind some of the most successful superhero games of all time. And they wait for 8 years before releasing a dumpster fire live service like Suicide Squad? Like, come on! That was such a massive dumpster fire! Come on! Oh my gosh. Jesus Christ, before I lose my shit again, let's move on to the next dumpster fire, which is layoffs. Because we've sure been seeing a lot of that in the last couple of years. Following 2024's massive waves of layoffs across the video game industry, 1 in 10 developers say they're among those cut from AAA studios and indie outlets alike. According to the Game Developers Conference newly released 2025 State of the Game Industry, 11% of the developer survey were laid off in the past 12 months. Overall, 41% of them were impacted by layoffs this year, either by being laid off themselves or having cuts affected, which is up from 35% of 2023. 58% of respondents expressed some level of concern, more reductions still to come. Per the surveys, the top reason companies have given employees for layoffs and restructuring in general term for organizing to make it more profitable, because executives didn't want to take a pay cut, followed by declining revenue and market shifts. That's for those who even got an explanation. 19% of those developers told us there was no reason given. Video game companies enacted layoffs, including Microsoft, a multi-trillion-dollar company, by the way, who acquired Activision Blizzard, which is one of the biggest game publishers in the freaking world, by the way, Sony Interactive, Riot, Take-Two, EA, Epic, Ubisoft, and more. They were also asked to share what they feel is responsible for the rise in layoffs. They said they recognize the revenue and market shifts were part of it. They placed most of it on issues like COVID overexpansion, like I've been saying, rising production costs, declining player interest, unrealistic expectations for the next big freaking hit, and poor leadership and mismanagement. That last one is the most freaking common, I swear, outside of the whole COVID overexpansion. Like, just the fact that it's so sad, really. There's a whole website out there that literally counts how many freaking layoffs ever since 2022, which is where all of this freaking started. You know what I mean? So, this is from this year alone. Look at the names on here. Space Ape Games, WB San Diego. That's a whole nother thing. We'll get to that last. Skeleton Key, Striking Distance Studios, Balsa Games, Night School, Liquid Sword, NetEase, who just released a hero shooter that's taken off so freaking much right now, and Marvel Rivals. That game is pretty fun. But how in the name of God, they still laid off. They still did. Even when your game is so successful, you still get affected by layoffs, man. Crytek. Because of that, Crisis 4 is being put on hold, sadly, because that explains why we haven't heard anything about Crisis 4 in so freaking long. That explains a lot. Anyway, Unity Technology, you guys get what I'm saying? The whole list. Look at it. 3 different branches of Ubisoft. Come on. That's a whole nother thing, literally. There's so many of them. Phoenix Labs, BioWare, who just released a new Dragon Age last year. And that clearly bombed. Clearly, if they were getting hit by layoffs, clearly. Midnight Society, that studio got shut down. That was Dr. Disrespect Studio, was making some kind of NFT game or something, some shit. I don't know. Because that got shut down, clearly. But and also, some of the newest ones, the news just came out about that the other day, so let's take a look. Warner Bros. Discovery has confirmed plans to shut 3 of the game development studios. The decision means a highly anticipated Wonder Woman game, which has been in production for 3 years at one of the studios, Monolith, will not be released. Player First Games, which made Multiverses, and Warner Bros. Games San Diego will also be shuttered. The announcement comes after a difficult time in the industry with widespread job loss as it deals with a slump in sales since the COVID pandemic. A spokesperson from Warner Bros. told the news agency Reuters that the decision was aimed at boosting product availability. On Wonder Woman, they said, "Our hope was to give players and fans the highest quality possible for that kind of care. Unfortunately, it is no longer possible within our priorities." Last month, Multiverse said there will be no more updates for the game, which will have to be played offline for the future. Warner Bros. Said it will stand focused on developing its core series, including Harry Potter, Mortal Kombat, DC, and Game of Thrones. You kind of get the whole idea, right?
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Ooh, that's a bold strategy. To assume that the overexpansion would still keep happening after COVID made gaming take a massive spike in sales because everybody was stuck at home because literally there was a whole pandemic. Nobody wanted to go out and get sick or whatnot, so they just stayed home. They had nothing to do. So what did they do? They played more video games. Probably people who didn't play video games before started playing video games because there was nothing else to do at home. Really. That's kind of the whole point. And these stupid, dumbass executives, consistently, they did all these stupid, overexpensive hires, and look what happened. Did you all really think that the spike in sales was going to be consistent? No way in hell that was going to happen once everybody started going outside again, going back to their normal lives. There was no way in hell that was going to be sustainable. Who in their right mind thought that was going to be sustainable? I want to know, because clearly y'all must smoking something, because that was never going to happen. Never. It was never going to be sustainable. Have y'all lost your minds? Clearly you have. Clearly. Y'all lost your minds. Jesus Christ, man. What is going on here? A whole nother reason why Concord failed was the toxic positivity where everyone was like, oh, hunky-dory, because, they act like everyone's gonna get along with the same stupid bullshit identity politics that's been going on and festering the whole culture war and bullshit that's been going on for the last few years, especially. Come on. That was a whole nother reason. Not everyone's gonna agree on the same frickin' thing. That's just not realistic at all. That's just not realistic. It's just not. Who in their right mind thought that was a good idea as well? Who in their right mind? That's why the whole stupid culture war is such stupid bullshit. That shouldn't be affecting games at all. It really shouldn't. Not to mention because game development is so much more accessible now. Where anybody can, make a game, because it used to be part of a club way back in the day. Regarding the whole game budget thing too, you can't take risks making video games anymore. You can't. why do you think you don't see really risk really at all, like if any, in the AAA gaming space anymore? You don't, because game budgets have got so freaking out of control. Like, we're so high, like if just one game failed, it could kill your studio. Look, again, the whole Concord situation. That game cost so much to make. Like, it killed Fire Sprite Studios. Look what happened. You know what I mean? I mean, Monolith got shut down, and they were in the business since 1994. Because they came out with Shadow of Mordor back in 2017, and what they been doing? Like, clearly, they were trying to make, from what I heard, they were trying to make a new IP. I guess that didn't pan out. Then they started working on Wonder Woman. Apparently, that game got rebooted. Then I guess WB finally decided to pull the plug, and they shut down the studio too. And they patented the Nemesis system, which was like really creative in the gaming space. And they got that patent until like 2036, I think it was, from last I read about that. Which is kind of insane, so nobody's going to be able to use it, clearly, because Monolith is freaking fucking gone. Unless one of WB's other studios does something with it. Which I don't see happening personally, but hey, you never freaking know. You know what I mean? It's sad, really. It's just out of control. You know what's funny? The only company who seems to be having their shit together is Nintendo. You notice that? You guys notice that? Because they don't have their budgets out of freaking control, because their games don't need that kind of budget. No video game should need like that kind of insane budget, honestly. They really don't. It's kind of insane. And it's only the Western studio. I mean, look at BioWare. Where are they now? Look at them. Look at them. If they don't succeed with the next Mass Effect, I think they're gone. They are gone completely, because how many failures have they had? You know, Mass Effect Andromeda, people consider a failure despite it still sold decently. Because EA even said it was sold successfully, but it didn't let BioWare make any more the planned DLC for it. I mean, Anthem, we don't need to talk about Anthem because that was a whole mess. Apparently Dragon Age Origins had a messy development, but that still came out and was really well received, so they got very lucky on that. Remember the whole BioWare Magic statement? That was a thing for a while, notoriously during development of Anthem. Like, they really thought they would just get it together, but clearly they didn't, because, I mean, look at, like I said, like, if they don't succeed with Mass Effect, I think they're done. I think EA will shut them down after that. I mean, Rocksteady is another example, because the whole Suicide Squad bullshit mess that just happened, you know? Because we're not going to be probably hearing anything from them for a long time, because I guess they realized they fucked up, and there you go. Now they're going back to making a single player Batman game like they should have been made another single player superhero game from the get-go anyways. You know? Like, that's what they should have been doing instead of chasing trends, because everyone wants to make their next Fortnite, which is never gonna freaking happen. It's never gonna happen. Fun fact, Fortnite wasn't even as huge as it was when it first released, because it wasn't even a Battle Royale at first. Most people don't remember that. Fortnite wasn't originally a Battle Royale game. Because, like I said at the beginning of the video, for every Fortnite, there's a Lawbreakers, a Concord. There's so many life service failures that have happened. There's a whole list out there. Trust me. There's a whole giant list out there. Like, and these companies don't seem to realize it. They don't. Because they want that, ongoing service revenue, which it's not going to freaking happen, because there's only, especially with single player studios. I mean, look at Avengers. Look, bro, they fucked up Avengers. Square Enix fucked up Avengers game. Think about that. An Avengers game with the Avengers name. How in the hell do you screw that up? Oh, I know, by chasing trends by making it a live service looter shooter. Who in the right mind thought that was a good idea? Clearly executives at Square Enix. And why they eventually closed down service of that game after like 3 years, I think. Honestly, that game survived longer than I thought it would, to be honest with you. Which is kind of sad, because the single player part of Avengers, I thought was decent. Personally, I thought it was okay, It was a live service game, though. The live service aspect of the game, that was a disaster, clearly. You kind of get what I'm saying, though? Like, it's so insane to me that people still want to say that the game industry is fine in the AAA space when it's not. No way in hell. There is no freaking way. I mean, there's still games to be excited about, of course, but, like, there's always going to be so many failures. I mean, it's pretty sad, really, the state of the industry, because It's so frustrating. You wonder why I get so annoyed about hearing about these constant failures? Because I love gaming, clearly. I've been gaming since I was 3 years old, you know what I mean? Like, before, like, making games, you had to be part of an exclusive club. It's so much more accessible now. Hence why you see some of these games made by, like, one person just take off. I mean, or smaller development studios, you know? Look at Helldivers 2. That wasn't even by one of Sony's first party studios. That was more of a second party game, third party game that Sony, funded and whatnot. And that game took off. That was definitely like Sony's like big hit, obviously on live service. I think they just got lucky with that, really, personally, because it's not like they had direct involvement. They just kind of just funded that game, but because Arrowhead isn't owned by them, they're not. So they just got lucky with that one. Honestly, they got very lucky. So I mean, there's just so many failures. We really need to stop with the live service bullshit. Like, there's just going to be continue to be more failures because not every studio is going to keep doing the same thing, and that's why it's so insane with game development taking so freaking long. I mean, the fact that it took Rocksteady 8 years to release a game and for it to be a giant flop like Suicide Squad, that's just sad. It really freaking is, man. It's just so sad. It could have been avoided so easily if WB just let Rocksteady just do their thing, which is make badass single player superhero games, and look what happened. So look what happened. I hope that rumor about it being Batman Beyond game is true. I hope it is, but who the hell knows? But can Rocksteady even? It's not the same Rocksteady, considering that these people who had that studio left before Suicide Squad released because they probably saw the writing on the wall that was going to be a mess, and well, that's what happened. But yeah, I think that's all I got to say on this. Yeah, Nintendo is seemingly the only one who seems to know what they're fucking doing, because they're going to continue to be kicking ass clearly with the Switch 2 when that comes out later in the year. So yeah, that's all I got to say on this one. But yeah, anybody who really says the gaming industry is healthy, it's not. We're in the middle of a crash. And who knows how long it's going to take before it fully corrects itself. I don't know. But I guess just, hey, sit down for the ride, because we're going to be in this ride for a while, I feel. There's definitely going to be more layoffs this year, so more dumpster fires. But just enjoy the ride. That's all I can say. But I guess lie and wait, and I'll see you on the next one. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you for listening to my tirade, because it's just so freaking frustrating. As someone who loves gaming like I do, it's just so annoying. It's so tiring. That's all I gotta say, but I'll see you on the next one. Till then, have a good one.